All right, let me try this again because apparently we're having technical difficulties, I think, or at least on my end, it was a technical difficulty. Said something about my browser didn't play the intro. Let me play the intro so I see it, and then we'll get this show on the road. Man, I tell you what, StreamYard is dropping the ball. All right, now I can continue on. I apologize for whatever the heck that beginning was. It's nice, that StreamYard has a feature that, you start the stream and it plays your intro automatically. What isn't nice is that when you do that and it doesn't do it, at least on my end. So anyway, thank you very much, everybody, for tuning in tonight. Greatly appreciate all the love and support. Tonight, we've got the Coco dude himself. That's right, Chris Davenport backstage. We've also got Pennsylvania's distributor of the best cocoa bedding on the market today, co-hosting with us, which Chris is, Shelly is no stranger to the channel. He's, one of the awesome co-hosts. I'm actually surprised. As you can see, let me look here. I don't see Mr. Balls Deep, aka Soldentino, on here, so it won't be as confusing because I got to thinking earlier, if we've got Sorrentino on here, that means we've got 3 Chris's, and it's you say Chris one time and you're gonna have 3 people responding. And so let's go ahead. We'll bring out Mr. Shelley. What up, brother?
Good evening, everybody. What's up, Mr. Jeremy?
Nah, dude, I'm exhausted. I am exhausted.
Oh, don't even start.
I will say this though. I don't know which is better, small arms or snakes. I'm just gonna think I'm leaning towards the first. But
Were you at the show all day today?
Dude, it was all weekend. It was Saturday and Sunday.
Yeesh, man.
Yeah. I don't. All right, it's not as exhausting as a 2-day reptile show, just because I can sit on my ass and it's okay. But the issue is that for whatever reason I stress more at the gun shows. So, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. So it's just a different level.
Did you sell some guns?
Oh yeah, we did good.
Good.
Yeah, we did good.
That's all that matters.
It was very much well worth 2 days of nothing but that.
Now, just a quick question: what does something like that go for setups? What do you pay to get a table there? Do you get 1 table, 2 tables, 8-footers, 6-footers? What goes into that?
They're 8-foot tables, and that show was $65 a table.
Oh wow, that's not bad at all. Okay.
No, so very affordable. That one we had 1 table. A lot of times we do 2 tables.
Right.
The next one that we're doing 3, because after dropping everything back off at the house, I told my brother, it's like, dude, it's like we really need to get another table because we've got all these guns still. We've got ammo and supplies, and then we've got soft goods like mags, pouches, carriers, canteens, there's a lot.
Right.
we have maybe put a dent in it.
That's wild. I always thought that, you think about other trade shows and things like that, and how intense some of those setups are, and they're nothing compared to our shows. We dip maybe say we put 1,500 into our backdrop or tablecloth, everything, and these shows that's nothing to them. That's just what the tables cost for them to get into a show.
Yeah.
They spend thousands on their setups.
I say for that shit, for that, it's weird. It's just we just use a blue blanket as the table. There's nothing fancy about what we're doing.
Nope.
It's
nothing.
just blue blanket, You lay everything out, and there you go. And my brother, it's funny because he goes, man, like this is, he says about on, it's a lot, and we've got a system down. I'm there thinking, it's like, man, it's like, no, like this is simple, dude. Like this is easy. Like this is a cakewalk compared to
just selling snakes, brother.
Yeah, I was gonna say, instead of having to set up a banner, set up your tablecloth, set up all the displays, the lights. Yeah. But anyway, we had a good weekend. Lots of good laughs had by my brother. And the funny thing is that a lot of times we're doing these shows with our old shop teacher.
Oh.
So we're like all day long, we are literally just cracking jokes and stuff at each other. So it was a good time.
Nice. Very cool.
But let's go ahead and bring out the Coco dude himself, Mr. Davenport.
The real
What's going on, dude?
Coco dude.
How you guys doing?
Doing good, man. Doing good.
Good, man.
So we'll go through here, say hi to some people quick, run sponsor attitude real quick, and everybody, just so you know, tonight we've got a kind of a strict deadline because I've got another early ass morning. Again, I've got one more after this, dude. One more after this, and Sight and Sound will be done, and I'll be able to have normal Mondays again.
This whole work thing is getting in the way of stuff. You know that, right?
Well, dude, I'm telling you, like, I think I just need to do snakes and small arms. I'm telling you, I think like maybe if I could just keep a consistent of those two, I might be set.
Hell yeah.
Yeah. But let's see who we got here. Mr. James Perry, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Good to see you.
James, silent
Real
assassin.
Rizzo, what's going on? Channel member, thanks for tuning in.
Rizzo.
Tara, Voodoo Doll Royals, channel member. Thank you very much for tuning in, Tara.
Yoo-hoo Queen.
Look, all right. Look at this guy. This man needs no introduction on any live because he's got the whole family's set of phones. The one and only Kike. What's going on, brother? Thanks for tuning in.
Kike.
Jamie Tire God, what's going on, bro? Another channel member.
Evening, Jamie.
Let's see here. Brittany, what's going on? Good to see you, girl.
Fire, baby.
Miss
Hey, you mentioned barbecue. Where the hell were you? Were you up in Canada? That's the only excuse.
She had some family stuff going on.
All right, we'll take that too.
Brittany is the only one that gets a pass. All right, Brittany's the only one that gets a pass. Everybody else, you're in the doghouse. All right. Snakes for everybody that said that they were coming and didn't come are now double.
Boo.
Forget who I did say that to, and they're like, "Damn, don't piss you off."
No carpets for you.
Yeah, no carpets for me either. Shit. Dickie Foster, thanks for tuning in. That's a new face.
Is that for that Chris? You know him, Chris?
No.
Oh, okay.
Maybe
it's a different name with a different account. I don't know.
Could be.
He's in our he hops in our Monday night podcast with Keys with the Great Outdoors. So maybe that's saluting.
All right. Well, thank you very much for tuning in.
Yes, sir.
Chris, what's going on? Another Chris.
Christian.
What up, brother? Thanks for tuning in. Another channel member.
I've yet to meet him. I hope he comes down to Hamburg in July.
I was hoping he was going to come to the barbecue. He was a maybe. I was hoping he was going to make it. I was hoping he was going to get to make it because I got to chill with him at the last Carpet Fest, which somebody didn't go to. But I did get to spend a couple hours just bullshitting with Chris there. He's an awesome dude.
Nice. So, he's got a quite eclectic collection.
Yes.
For sure.
Yes. And he's got one hell of a badass carpet that came from here. Apparently he's got a little bit of an attitude, but I can't help that one. Julia, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. Jason, what's going on? Thanks for tuning in. And that catches us up. All right. So let me go ahead and run the channel sponsors real quick and we'll get this show on the road. Gettysburg Reptile Expo LLC is one of the premier shows of the Northeast. Located at the All-Star Event Complex in Gettysburg, Pennsylvania, it's a 45,000 square foot venue that houses 270 plus tables, 125 plus breeders, with an amazing selection of snakes, lizards, geckos, turtles, amphibians, and invertebrates. Doesn't matter if you're a breeder looking for that next high-end piece to your project or a pet owner looking for your next scaly friend. Stop it off the SC Serpents there to meet all of your racking and incubator needs. The show dates for 2025 are March 29th, July 19th, and November 8th. So make sure you stop out, and I will see you at Gettysburg Reptile Expo LLC. ShedTesting.com is your premier choice when it comes to shed testing. Charlie is adding new tests on a regular basis, so make sure to stop by often to see what's been added to the website. Let ShedTesting.com shave years off of your breeding plans. They're fast, accurate, and can't be beat. Don't forget to use the code CARPET15 at checkout to save 15% off of your order. ShedTesting.com. Use the best.
All
right, another shameless plug for Charlie. If you pay him enough, he gives you better results. I'm just joking. I will say this, though. Charlie has given me many, many good test results this year so far. So thank you very much, Charlie, for that one. He also now gave me a mystery because that GHI Mojave Hypo that we all thought was chocolate, she's not chocolate. So now we've got, is she just a GHI Mojave Hypo that looks way different, or do we got something else that we did? Yeah.
Back to the drawing board. What was the pairing? What else could be in there? Came from John, right?
No, that one came from Danny.
Oh, okay.
So on something like that, do you run a full panel test then just to check everything?
That one, my original test was just test for chocolate because we were convinced that that's what it was. Yeah. Now, I don't want to again. You could run the full panel, but that's only going to test for what's available.
Yeah.
I think the approach I want to do with it is breed it, see what pops out, see if I can't isolate something that isn't something I know, but it definitely isn't a normal.
Like a normal hypo.
Yeah, just see what it pops out of a breeding with her.
Right.
And go from there. It's
that, or I was find out.
I was convinced she was chocolate.
You don't know what the pairing was, do you?
I don't remember. No,
that's the other option. You can find out what the pairing was. Maybe there was something like mahogany or something crazy in there. You know what I mean? It could have slipped in there. Who knows?
Here's the kicker, though. It's a good question as to what was in the pairing because there was no known het clown or clown at all floating around in it. Its sibling, which Nate has, produced visual clowns. And now I did test that one for het clown, and that came back negative. So there's a lot of unknowns floating around in that. So
one of the parents was 100% het clown. We know that.
Yes.
Hypo.
And yes, and I missed out on the clown and whatever the other thing that we thought was chocolate.
That's too funny.
But nonetheless, Charlie has given me some awesome shed test results this season so far, which
I gotta send them some more.
If anybody missed this week's video, go check it out because I did get to hit a home run on that one. But go check this week's video out. Plus, it's always fun. I don't know. I always go back with the egg cuttings. I love watching them myself just because I get my kids involved, Chris. So my son, he's 2, but he absolutely is just in love with the snakes.
Yeah.
So experiencing it first person is one thing, but getting to sit back and watch it on camera, I just enjoy it that much more for some reason. But he does get all excited about it. So does my daughter Hadley. So I'm hoping to plant that seed and get them, to be able to take this over one day. So
yeah.
Oh, look at this. Keith, Creative Genetics. Thank you very much, dude, for the super chat. Thank you very much for tuning in, brother. Thank you very much for tuning in.
Thank you for the West Coast. We're going to fly Keith out either next year or for my 51st birthday. We're going to fly him out here to party with us.
Dude, we gotta get Keith out.
Yeah, definitely definitely at least in the 51st birthday, 4 years.
Yeah.
We'll see.
We will make it happen, Keith. We will make it happen. So enough running all over the place with squirrel moments here, Shelly.
Yeah, don't even blame it on me. Sorrentino's not here. So, come on now, stop it.
I'm actually surprised he's not at least in the chat.
I hope he jumps in.
I hope so too. But anyway, maybe not, because if we do, Chris won't ever come back on it.
Oh no, he will. Chris has got thick skin. He might blush a little bit, but he'll be back on.
Okay. Sorrentino, if you're watching this, that's like a challenge, dude. That's a challenge right there. But Chris, give us a little bit of like a backstory, man. Like what got you into this, and how'd you get started with everything?
So back in 2015, I moved down to Florida, and it started with my son wanted a turtle, so I ended up going to Underground Reptiles. Actually, it was in Palm Beach, and
that's not Cameron, right?
I don't think.
No, I think it was a different guy from down there. Sorry, go ahead.
Yeah. So we went down to the store, and I ended up getting so they didn't have any turtles, so they only had a tortoise, sulcata. So I was like, well, it's got 4 legs and it's got a shell. Here you go. So I got him that, and then when I was there, I saw this ball python. My first one was a pastel puma.
So, I love pumas.
Yeah,
That's
and it was a male.
Yeah.
So it was a pastel puma male that I bought. So I brought it home, and then I just had one snake and had this sulcata. So we were in the garage playing with it one day, and we were renting a house. We just moved from Kansas City down to Florida, and we were playing in the garage. The tortoise was running around, and my neighbor, he was like, "Hey, what you got there?" And I was like, "Oh, I got some tortoise, and I've got a snake." And I bought a sea serpents, or actually the first I had was a vision cage, and I taped did all wrong, put heat lamp, and I had no clue what I was doing, but I got a snake. And I had snakes prior, but this was like, I wasn't traveling anymore. And my wife said, once you start, I used to travel probably 9 months out of the year, golf tournaments. So my wife told me, she goes, once you stop traveling, you can get whatever you want, as long as you take care of it. And so I'm like, okay. So I ended up, getting, the snake, and, I was like, oh, this thing's cool. But my neighbor was like, here, come here, I got to show you something. And I went into this guy's house in like 2 bedrooms. His name's Dave Palmero. 2 bedrooms were just filled with snakes. And I was like, what's this? And I had no clue that it was a thing. And he was like, yeah, I breed them, and I do this, and I make this money. And he worked for AT&T, and like he had all these toys and everything. And I was like, man, I got to do this. So then I just started, and, I got a sea serpents, ink, or sea serpents rack. I think it was a VE-35 was the first, and he told me about Morph Market. And I was actually I bought like 6 snakes right off the bat. And it was back when Highway, they just made Shane Herbold. He just had the Highways, and there was only like 3 of them. And I remember I paid like $3,500 for a Highway, back in it was 16, and
Yep.
so I was like, yeah, so I was like into it. And my wife, she had no clue what things cost or anything like that. And then I was like, I had to come real with her about it. And she
I was
was
gonna say
like,
it's probably a good thing to start.
yeah, it would probably be. So then I was like, yeah, this is this much and this. And she was like, no more buying snakes until you can sell one. So I was like this. I was like, I'm gonna buy an adult female because I gotta make a baby to sell it to show her that I can get more. So I bought. There was a guy up in Daytona that had some adult females he was getting rid of. I bought those on the sly, and yeah, and I started breeding them, and I didn't know what I was doing and everything. So I was like, "Here, you just put them in and do it." And I was breeding out of my garage at the time, and I was like, "Oh, this is." It was like where the laundry was. I'm like, "This is no good." So I ended up. Um, I fed frozen. So I would get from Perfect Prey and then, do the whole thaw out thing. And then, sometimes I would pass out, not just from being tired, not from being drunk, but I'd pass out. And then the morning, have rats that I never fed that I would have to get rid of and start the process over. And I was like, this is stupid. I got to find, then I found rodents on the road, and then they were supplying me. But then that's how it kind of started with that. And I made the first hatchlings, I sold them, and then I was like, I was hooked, and I ended up building a building in the back. Did you ever go to my place in Florida? No,
Nope, I never made it
but
down there. No, you
yeah,
had the first year I went to Daytona, I don't know if you were moving that first year or
yeah,
if you were working and we couldn't link up that first
yeah,
Daytona, and then after that you had moved. I was like, I
yeah,
never got to see it.
yeah. So
I've seen
it ended up,
videos though and stuff.
yeah. So we had like 3/4 of an acre, and I put a 26 by 24 building on the back and ran power. And,
That's a nice
I,
size building.
I was like, I'm in it.
Yeah.
Then I started really, getting into like the campfire stuff and, buying stuff from Justin.
What
Um,
year would you say this was, Chris? So you started 15 is about when
Probably,
you bought your first
yeah,
one.
16. So probably 2 years.
So by
It's probably
17 you were
it's
already.
probably eight, 18, 17, 18.
Because
You
I
know,
feel like I feel like I was watching videos of yours at
yeah,
least a year or two before COVID.
yeah.
I
So
feel
I
like
was big on YouTube, and not like big like a bunch of subscribers, but
tons of
big on
videos.
like
Yeah.
doing YouTube. And I had a film guy come in and film it and edit it, and we had the whole deal.
The
Me and
videos
my
are great, man.
Yeah. And then just like me and Zach, my buddy down there, we would drink, and but it was like every time I made a video, it was costing me about $500 or $600 a month to film, 4 or 5 videos, cutting eggs and this and that. And it was just like, and I didn't see the return on it right away.
Yeah.
And
I was
so
gonna say,
then it was like I didn't want to put out like a product I wasn't proud of.
yeah.
And I didn't want to put out, and not saying I'm not the most computer guy, so editing things, I mean, I it just wasn't for me. And then that wasn't, because I was thinking to myself, hey, I'm taking care of these animals, and if I got to spend time and edit and everything else, it just takes away from the animals. So
Yep.
I always was like, oh, if I get a guy down there to edit everything, come in and shoot it and get it, I mean, it takes that off my plate. So then there was the
Sure.
value of that, being able to spend time with family and everything else. What's up, Chris?
Hey, how you
Good
doing?
evening, Mr. Deep.
Oh, I'm beat.
All 4 inches, baby.
Yeah.
You're,
There
you
you
all
go.
right? You're looking a little red. Are you all right, bro?
I was having sun all day at John's
Damn. Oh, that's right. Yeah, we couldn't make
birthday party, Hunter's birthday party.
So what you're saying is you're in a food coma at the moment.
Oh yeah,
Mel's meat filled you up, huh?
Yeah, Mel's meat. Mhm.
I missed it.
Now I gotta clean snakes. That's what I was doing.
Well, I'm glad you could hop on here and join us.
Yeah, he broke my strike.
Yeah.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, Chris got a couple snakes from me.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, that's right. He
got
called me up
crazy
questioning me.
looking. Yeah, he got. I'm like,
He
who's
was
this
like,
guy?
Who is this asshole selling these snakes? Do you know this? Do you know
Oh,
this Florentino
yeah.
Balls Deep guy?
I got those. They're
The crazy clowns.
Yeah, those 3 of them.
Yeah.
I think that those are
So odd.
Motley clowns. I think
Yeah.
it's Motley. So
Yeah, I think so too. They're
Yeah.
odd.
I think it's mahogany and Motley in them.
Yeah, that
So,
was-
Yeah, I have
funny.
one. I still have a head hypo one here.
yeah.
Just goofy.
No.
I get
So,
this email. Hey, do you know this guy selling these clowns? I'm like, oh boy.
yeah.
I always love that when you
Yeah,
get that in
who's
like
this
a group
fucking
chat.
weirdo? Balls deep.
Yeah.
You're in a group chat, and they're
you
like,
know,
you
when
know
I
this person. It's like,
So when I
no.
first started, I started as these balls was how it was, these balls. But then it was like, it was hard because the pun was there, the fun was there.
Google
But
search.
when you go to a show in a kid, I remember going to St. Louis, and from Florida to St. Louis, we drove a box truck up there. We had the coconut. We did, a big setup with the trussing and everything. And then I remember a kid came up with his mom and she goes, "What's the name of your company?" And I was like, I got to change this because
I get it all the time.
yeah, it was
I
like,
got little kids that want shirts
Yeah.
and can't wear it to school.
yeah. But
My kids wear them. Fuck it. They go.
no, and that's the thing is like I sent my kids to school in these ball shirts, and I love that name, and I ended up I had that website and theseballs.com, and actually someone bought it and they sell golf balls now.
Oh,
Wow. Okay.
So
I could have went one of 2 ways.
yeah. So yeah, so he special monogrammed or something golf balls, and he bought the site from me. So, but it was yeah, so I just kind of started, and then I was really deep into it with the the building, and then it was just like, okay, I started buying everything that was different. And so one of the guys that I worked with, Art Zaros, he's down in Palm Beach. He's got an eye, him and Dale Porcher with the candy shop. So those 2 guys really have an eye of for snakes and just different morphs. So I was hanging around with them, and then I was looking for anything different and not mainstream. It was like imports. Any import that was different, I bought. And that's where this year we're gonna have the Badger coming out.
Oh wow.
The banded import. So I have 4 or 5 imports that are just just growing, and and we'll see what it was. I mean, when we were at Tinley
That last year, I like that one you picked up last year.
yeah, so I picked
I
up
want
2
that one.
imports that were different, and that's what it is. It's like I don't care what anybody says, is to make a name here, you can't follow, because if you're following, you're always chasing somebody.
Yep.
And they're going to beat you to it. They're going to produce things. You got to take your own road. And that's where, I mean, the slogan of The Exotics is think outside the box, because everything you do is you can put your own spin on it. I was one of the first guys with Rainbow, and now Jeremy Jolly, they have they bought a bunch of stuff from me when I moved to kind of downsize. So, so they had the Rainbow and stuff there. So they have that, and we still have
that whole project, or do you still have some?
I still have one female that Miguel from Perfectly Engineered has. So currently my collection is in Kansas City. So up here we have ball pythons, blood pythons, boa constrictors, mountain boas up here. Now then Miguel with Perfectly Engineered, he has ball pythons that we do together, sand boas. He has some bull snakes, some rat snakes, and Taramaharas.
The mountain boas too. Yeah.
Yeah, and he has the Taramaharas. So, it's so I was strictly into balls for a while.
When you built your facility,
yeah,
that's what we
you
heard.
like that, Chris?
When you bought your facility, that's all it was ball pythons in the beginning, right?
That's all it was. Yeah, okay. Ball pythons.
Because early on when I started watching your videos, it wasn't long, and you had IMGs, you had leopard boas, you had bloods, like it.
So one of the guys, Da Vinci boas.
Yeah.
So amazing animals.
Uh-huh.
When you see one of those babies come out at Daytona and it's got a $5,000 price tag, you're figuring it out. You're because that's a game changer animal that you gotta do. And the thing about boas, so like I saw like ball pythons, so many people got into the ball pythons, and so many people were like, I was talking to people and they were like, I bought this $5,000 male and I put it to 11 females and I killed them, but I've got 11 clutches coming from that male. And so then it's like so many people were doing that, and it just like overmade them. I mean, most oversaturated the market into certain markets. So that's where the things that I was making, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, I was making triple heads and quad heads to look out, that this year I got triple heads to triple heads and quads to quads going this year. Nice. And so it's like, but so many people were trying to get that double recessive right off the bat instead of working. We lost in this industry. We lost the codom game.
Yeah.
And we skipped over it. And I mean, you guys, Tony, you gotta do the work. You gotta make your heads and get the codoms. I mean, we have triple heads that have 3 or 4 codoms in them already. And that was because we took that long approach. Well, it's going to make it why everybody's making that double visual. At some time, you're going to have to put codoms into things. So if I made a Desert Ghost Clown, it was so, I mean, they went from 11,000 to like 3,000 to 2,000 to 1,500. You can probably get one now.
You can get one for 600.
You can get one for 600 because
fuck, dude. Fuck.
But the thing about it, yeah.
Where on the doll did the breeder hurt you, Sorrentino?
Is that Diddy talking right there?
Yeah. So the thing is you still have to go the het route. So now with that $600 or $10,000 Desert Ghost Clown, you got to put all these codoms in it to make double hets to go back and wait. So it's like a lot of people I miss that. And that's where it was like we were trying to, I was trying to not fall in because it was easy to make, you spend 20,000 and you make the double visuals, but then you're just stuck with that. Yep. So I think you're going to see a big surge in codoms again because people, I remember, 17, 18, there was, and now with shed testing, because we were making 7 or 8 codoms in a snake, but we didn't know. We thought it was in there, but we didn't know. But, so I saw that coming, and then it was like, hey, I asked Richard, I said, tell me about the boas. And he was like, well, the one male goes to one female. I said, I'm sold. You can't overproduce them. And if you do overproduce them, you're going to kill them.
Sounds boring.
Well, not that you're ever going to produce, you're going to kill them, but with boas, you can't overproduce. You're going to run you try to run a boa to 3 females, you're going to end up with 3 shitty ass.
Sounds like marriage.
You might get 1 or 2 live, but the rest are going to be slugs. You're not going to use all that male's viable sperm where it's supposed to be.
Right. So that's where I was like, man. So I bought, I think I'm at like 30 boas now.
Oh, holy shit. I didn't know you had that many boas.
Yeah. So,
so
I ended up, when we were leaving Florida, I got from Adam Chesla a bunch of boas. I was heavy into the Mandarin, I'm heavy into the Mandarin, Super Mandarin. So we did some trading and I doubled down on boas. And then also with Da Vinci, I doubled down with boas before I left. And, we have a pretty good stock of boas at the facility. And then I fell in with bloods, man. You want to talk about a fucking animal that's crazy? So
I miss my blood.
It's so there was a guy he's about 40 minutes, Kingdom Animalia is his name. And I used to get mice from him when I had the rattery. But he had this little facility and it was one of those octagon deals, and he had all these bloods. And my first 2 bloods was a Lili 007 T positive male, and then a Lili 007 het T positive female, a Manic Panic. And they were mean.
I like the 007s.
They were mean animals.
The Manic Panic bloodline, did that come out of the blood cell?
I think.
What's his name? I can't think of his name.
Yeah.
I got
right?
Huh?
McPete, wasn't it?
I think so. I'm not.
Yeah.
I just know. I just see something and I buy it. And you've been with me, Chris.
Are you coming to Tinley this year? Well,
I plan on being there.
My first question is, are you going to listen to your accountant this year?
Yes.
All right.
Yeah.
I guess you're coming to Tinley. I guess it'll still be fun.
Yeah, it'll be fun.
So I'm assuming Tinley last time was a little making it rain.
So between Daytona, last year I put 150,000 back into the hobby.
Okay.
Oh, wow.
Is that what you did last year?
Yeah.
You got any left?
Yeah.
Check out my team.
So it was between,
yeah.
Huh?
I do.
I told him to buy some cocoa.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, I love that cocoa to go.
Yeah,
That shit's like crack. I love it.
it's a easy thing.
I do wish it was a little less chunkier, but that stuff is great.
Yeah, I'm gonna come out with something else.
Yeah, the
stuff.
one batch was like really, really chunky.
Yeah,
That stuff
I'm
is
gonna
like,
come out with a medium one.
yeah.
So it's just it's hard because like off topic, but going from black label to red label and I have like I think black label moves a lot and then I'll get a run on red label and then I'll be out and so I'll order more, but you're only allowed 20 pallets on a container.
Dude, that stuff's gold.
Yeah.
I love that. That's probably the best cocoa ever. I love that.
Yeah, thank you.
That's right.
No, I swear to God.
We'll get into
that.
Yeah,
we'll get into the
I
cocoa
love
stuff then.
Yeah, but the bloods, the bloods were like I just was like, man, I love them, and so then I got hooked up. Rest in peace, Nick Bottini. I got hooked up with him, and I saw an animal, and it was a Super Sunder. Super Sunder Het T positive blood, and I think it's Super Sunder Goldeneye Het T positive blood, and I saw this thing, and it was like I saw pattern and color, and I was like, man, this is like there, and then it was like I get better with age, and he had these orange line matrix, orange line T positive albino matrix, and he had 2 of those, and I was like, man, I got to get one of these. And then it was the zigzag batik T positive albino, and I was like, man, if the Sunder breaks up the dorsal pattern, and I got this Super Sunder, then I can take the zigzag with the dorsal, and I can or the VPI stripe, and I can blow it up with the Sunder. And I'm like, okay. Then I saw the wrought iron.
Have you seen the wrought iron, Jeremy?
Have you seen the wrought iron?
No, I've never seen that.
All right, we got to send them some pictures. Yeah.
Yeah, and then you're like the wrought iron, and it's like it looks like a ball python, but it's rich and it's like chocolate,
maroon and chocolate.
Yeah,
it's
just
intense,
and it looks like it's just an apple. And so I just so I started falling in love with that and stuff. So that's where it was, and so I started like doubling down into that, and then with Miguel's that's Celtic balls kind of collection, and they had balls before and stuff, and then I was drinking a little bit at Tinley, and I ended up buying a pair of retics that are controversial because I don't know if they're mainland or dwarfs or what, but they're cool. And so, I ended up getting a pair of those to work and stuff like that.
Those on auction, though, they were pretty good.
Yeah. So,
what were you drinking?
I think it was maybe scotch. I think I bought a bottle of scotch and was sipping on that in the afternoon, and ended up
turned into night.
raising hands.
Those retics are nice, though.
Yeah, so it was there, but they're really like Celtic has more like Mandarin stuff up here. They've got the Badger Project. They have Mandarin. So we should have some Super Mandarin hypos coming out this year. Quad, because originally when I came back to Kansas City, my plan was to do the ball pythons and bloods and boas up here. Was the plan, and then I had the opportunity to start my own event rental company. So it was like I could do this, and then I met Jeff and Angie through just going to shows, and they were always pleasant and happy and everything, And I went up to him and I said, "Hey, I got a business proposition for you guys, and this is kind of how I'd like to set it and stuff." And we first started it. Everything was over at their house, and
What year was this, Chris? When did you move out to Kansas City?
so it's 25, so 23.
That's when you
So
moved back out.
So they've only had the collection for a year now. So in March was a year. So
So I
24.
think I remember when that happened because
Yeah, I think they were having
after they were here for the barbecue.
Yeah.
If I remember
So
correctly.
yeah, and I mean, I'm not the easiest to deal with because my mind goes a million different ways.
Nah.
And
Well,
I'll have a idea, and sometimes I run with it, or sometimes I think about it and I vocalize it, and then I change it and stuff. And it's just the way I'm always thinking how to better the collection, better this. I'm always looking at,
That
hey,
one up.
how to make us different. And it's like, my wife always told me, what makes you different than everybody else selling snakes? What makes you different?
Yep.
I mean, and it's not my looks, so it's your presentation. If you look at Justin, everybody worships him, and he's done a great job at marketing himself and his company. But if you go in there, he's color coded. It's all professional, and that's where if you can do that, it's a lot easier to sell snakes rather than just coming and throwing stuff in a Tupperware and I mean and stuff. I made a snake one time, and it was probably a high intensity OD Cypress blackhead, and
Nice.
it was from a stock that Ozzy had,
Okay.
and I put it on, and my price was better than Ozzy. It was more expensive than Ozzy, but the snake looked better than what Ozzy had. And so the person asked me, she was like, "Well, Ozzy's only selling it for 3,000, and you're asking for." And I says, "Well, are you sleeping with Ozzy, or are you sleeping? What are you breeding? And that's where if you get a better looking example, you can ask more for it.
I
And
agree.
it doesn't matter if your name's Ozzy or Justin or this or that. It's the quality, and a lot of these snakes
We got to get back to that.
we got to get back to the line bred, but no one talks about that. Most of these snakes are line bred.
Not
And-
ball
and-
pounds.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what, if my DG clowns come out looking like my male, they're not going to be $600. I'll tell you that.
no,
right now.
and that's where
He's
you gotta,
insane.
and that's where you have to. Hey, this is a better example than what you see out there, and that's why. I mean, you look at like Jason Kittinger. I mean, he holds back the best of the best, and then he has the mad scientist Barry Swope in his garage in his little. He's got one rack, but that guy's putting out hot animals, and he's keeping the best of the best and breeding back.
Half the people don't even know who Barry Swope is, man.
I know, but I'm just saying.
I'll be honest. I don't know who he is.
Yeah,
I'll be
me
flat
neither.
out
But
honest.
if you look,
lost me.
if you look and see him, I mean, he's putting out hypo puzzle
Yeah.
and
Nothing less than a hypo puzzle and shit
yeah,
like that.
and
Yeah.
it's I mean, he's putting out
Mhm.
fire animals, and so I think that we got to get back to quality, and I think the market's got to correct itself, but it's going to be hard
That's gonna
because
take a while.
now you have all these. So what do you do with the animals? What do you do with the animals that when you're going for quads, you have a 13-8 clutch and you miss? What do you do? I mean,
Yeah.
What do you do with all those animals? They're all byproduct.
Yep.
We're the only industry. We're the only, if you think about it, in all animals, when you sell it, you're selling your byproduct. You're keeping the best for yourself and you're selling your byproduct. And that's the thing, is sometimes you have to let the best of the best go to get your name out there and do it. Like Tony, I mean, I talk about him because he's a big influence on where I came from and I saw it. You know, is he doesn't care. He'll sell anything. I mean, you see the guy. He's like a traveling salesperson. He's got t-shirts, bag, nice, whatever you want. You want a sticker? He'll put his name on a fucking sticker and sell it to you for $1, and you'll spend $4 to ship that $1 sticker. And that's him.
Mhm.
And that's the thing, is he will move. And I mean, but you know what? He lives a very modest life. And he lives in a small town in Georgia. He owns his homes. He has 4-wheelers and shoots guns and goes to the creek and this and that's Tony. And he's not the most personable person where he's going to come up and give you a hug. But once you get to know him, he would do anything for you. And you know, I mean, I'm so happy that he's made it through, you know, the surgery. He's got another surgery coming up soon.
Okay. I just heard. I watched this one video. He said he's got something else coming up.
Yeah, and then it should be done. But that's, you know, that's the thing, is like, you know, it's, and we're all playing with genetics, messing with snakes, and it's like, you know, it's but it's fun. So, you know, I cut a clutch. This is the first time in it's probably 3 years. I cut a clutch this week, and I went over to Celtics, and you know, it was a banded import clutch, and you know, they let me cut it, and you know, and it was cool, you know, and stuff like that. Because I'm going to tell you, there's been times where I've almost sold out, and was like, you know, I mean, many a times, because in this industry, you have the highs of hatching and stuff, but it's at in between. You don't have anything. It's the work.
I was going to say, where the in between is what kills me.
Yeah, the in between.
In between, you want to do shows, or you've got animals to sell, but you don't have enough animals to justify a show.
Right.
Like, that middle ground where I'm just coming out of now. It's like I could take a breath of fresh air. I've got babies that are almost ready to start hitting the mark. It's like, all right, we're back on track again. No,
and that's where you know, and that's where you think about it, is like the market was so just crazy. I mean, prices were, and trust me, I mean, I've spent, you know, 10, 15 grand on a snake. So I've been a part of the problem, and where I could have made the snake, but you're buying time. And that's where it comes into it, of like, hey, if we're going to be relevant here, I'm going to have to buy this and rush it along, because if not, we're going to be really behind the stick and not where we want to be. So, but
I just wanted to, I didn't know if anybody got a chance to read that. I kind of had it up there and I took it off maybe a little bit too quick. Endless, very sorry, dude. Very, very sorry.
Yeah, man, that's rough.
I hear about that.
Sorry, man.
Oh, when was that? Who was this? Endless Morphs?
Yeah, Endless Morphs.
Oh, sorry to hear that, brother. Was it cancer, I guess?
Yeah, that's what I'm assuming.
Nice.
Yeah, Endless. Sorry, dude.
Yeah, man.
Sorry to hear that.
Rough.
Reach out to Stan. He was in the same boat a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, Stan went through that same thing not that long ago.
Sea of Serpents. Look him up. You need someone to talk to for sure.
Yeah, definitely.
Now, Chris, I do got, like, with you adding all the different species in there,
Mhm.
That the one thing I always, and everybody probably gets sick and tired of me saying it, is like I preach diversity to the end of time.
Yeah.
Just
Well-
because, like, when you're in a market spot like now, ball pythons are kind of on the lower end right now.
Right.
But some of the other species aren't getting hit nearly as hard
No,
as
yeah,
what the balls are.
because you never know. Like the ball pythons are always gonna there's gonna be some the ball pythons are gonna always be your base. They're
Be
always
stable.
gonna be an entry level base. I mean, you're not gonna, someone getting into it isn't gonna buy a blood. And boas are just scary to people, right off
Same with-
right off the rip.
Same with these guys in here, yeah.
Carpets.
The
Yeah.
carpets or the green trees that I've expanded out to. Which,
Yeah, so I think that you're always going to have that base. It's just, the thing is like is when you have a table display, what brings someone to your table? Is it lights? Is it banner? Is it coconut?
Everything.
Coconut. So that's where I was like, hey, you put my face, what food
That's it.
or you?
Oh, I bring the milkshake brings them all to the yard.
Oh shit. So
don't let him fool you. He spends 3/4 of his day asleep in his chair.
Oh, stop! I'm on medication for that now.
Not 3/4. Just a
People are just coming over to make sure he's alive.
yeah.
He's
So
been
it
since
was
you got his car
really,
fixed.
yeah. So that's where. So when I first started, I was distributing Repti for Florida. So at the first person was Josh Jensen from J Royals that founded Acid. He was the distributor for Repti, and then they had some kind of thing, and then I ended up taking it over and doing it, and I did well with it. It's just my thing is they want you to do a certain amount of shows, and then they want you to do a you got to sell 4 pallets in a year, and I always did it, but having that pressure of doing, hey, I got to do 92% of the Repticons in Florida, where to just sell coconut, it wasn't. But I remember my first Daytona. I was like, oh yeah, you're gonna be if so I went to Daytona, and they were like, you'll sell a pallet of Repti. Well, back in the day, there was some kind of beef between JT and the Freedom Breeder because of some stuff. But so what happened was Freedom Breeder sent out 3 pallets of coconut, and like we had to sell at like $20 a pallet or $20 a brick at shows. It was kind of the thing we had to sell at. You sign this representative or whatever. And so I remember I was like, oh, I had the pallet jack, and I rolled the whole pallet and put it at the booth, and I had 1 8-foot table. I had, a little snake display with some snakes, and I sold maybe 10 bricks. And I had to wheel that pallet right back to the truck and load it. And, I remember that. And I was like, so what happened was Jesse came in, and he put the Repti at, or the cocoa blocks.
Yeah.
He put it at like $10, and he just flew through it. So I remember that feeling. I remember it. And I was like, it'll never happen to me again. So I stopped doing Repti, and I started AN1 hemp. And so I was putting all the snakes on hemp. But with it being so humid in Florida, I had a mushroom farm in my snake bins, because a hemp is a 6-month byproduct. It's a 6-month crop. So for 6 months they grow the hemp. The other 6 months they grow mushrooms, and then when they cut the crop,
Spores.
all the spores go all over the hemp and the ground and stuff, and so it's there. So it
Wow.
was like,
Sucks it wasn't growing like little buds that you could smoke.
yeah,
That would have been great.
Hello! Look
Yeah.
at these presents.
yeah.
Dick
So
Roberto pot farm.
I would, if it was that, I would still be doing hemp.
Yeah.
So
I guess they weren't good mushrooms.
just saying. So then I was like, okay. So the hemp, I kind of moved over into the rat, I kind of moved over into the rat thing. And then I was like, here, I found a supplier in Sri Lanka that provides me the coconut and stuff. And I used to have their name on the back, but now I have contract with the supplier that they can't sell anything, reptiles or anything they can't sell into the US, that it's got to come through me. So
That
and that's
particular
where you
blend
don't
that you have, correct?
no, it's anybody that goes to him and says, hey, I want coconut for a reptile,
Okay.
they can't.
Okay.
And then that's where the coco to go is. That's kind of my own deal with him. Is like I wanted something different. I didn't want, and that's where the bales came in. So I did that, and I did that out of Florida, and then I was like, hey, now I have the bedding part, and then why not start a rattery? It's like the next thing to do it. So
Oof.
I ended up we ended up having it was 6,000 square foot, 3,000 with the mezzanine in it, and people have seen the Florida Rattery started it. But it was hard. It was just me and 2 girls and then a part-timer. And
You were doing that in Florida?
yeah.
Christ, woof. How many ATs did you go through?
No, so we just used forced air.
Okay.
Yeah, but then we had issues with the fan in the buildings being installed wired wrong, so it wasn't like pulling the air right, and we had a lot of losses at the beginning to get it off. So it was a lot of
troubleshooting,
growing pains with that. So I did that for about 2 years, but then it was hard because you have, whenever you have shortages, you have these big customers, and when you're breeding snakes and stuff like that, then people would be like, well, you're feeding your collection and you're not supplying me. And it wasn't that. I mean, so it was kind of it was hard because you would try to fill everybody, but then sometimes we had over 6,000. It was like 1,300 tubs of breeding rats in there. And I mean, and we had ASFs and mice, and I mean, it was a lot, and it just wasn't. I mean, the first year we did it, I think we did the first year we did rats and coke in the bedding. I think we did like 400,000, but the cost of it all was so much more. So it was so much more of it, and it was hard, doing that, and then having and that's where having the snakes and stuff like that also. So, because then it was like my weekends were cleaning snakes. I mean, I'm very like being in the event industry.
What up, Charlie?
What up,
Charlie?
Shed Daddy.
I'm very like structured, like time wise and stuff like that. Like,
right, you got to be on time for events.
Yeah, so I'm very like the snakes would get messed with. Pairing was at this time, every week was this time. This is when I pulled them at this time. This is when I fed. This is when I cleaned. This is when I paired. This is when I ultrasound once a month. And that's where, just having that helped. I was able to take the snakes and make it into like an 8-hour a week job of doing stuff of the collection. But that is, no one messing with you, playing the music, having some beer, and just fucking cleaning or doing what you got to do. And it was my own sanctuary, and I needed that. During COVID and stuff like that, I needed
We all need that.
the most clutches we've ever done, we did back to back. We had 80 clutches one year, and then the next year we had like 72. And then this year they're at like 30 and probably going to be around 50. Celtic will be. And then you think about it, Celtic will be at 50, and then Miguel will probably be at 20 to 30. So it'll be that kind of 80 clutches between the collection.
Now, are you putting just ball python numbers in there, or are you kind of just thinking clutches and litters combined? Like
no, that's just ball pythons.
You think it's ball pythons? Okay.
Yeah. So boas will probably be 4 to 5.
Okay.
And then bloods, they're just so fat. You fucking can't.
You're never sure, right?
You're never sure. You see it, and it's like
big boned.
I never see ovulations. I just kind of go off of if the female doesn't feed, I kind of just expect to grab it then at certain times of the years.
Yeah. So it's So just trying to see that. So the boas, but boas probably be five this year, 6 maybe, and then next year will probably be 11 or 12 boas.
Oh wow.
Big jump then. Big
jump. Yeah. Because that first year, they're kind of being, when I started doubling into it, it's been 3 years now, and then 2 years ago. So in another 2 years
they'll be well over 5 years old, right?
Yeah, it'll be over 5, and we'll probably have 30 boa clutches.
And that's kind of how I'm kind of set up right now with the carpets. It's like next year's probably the last year I'm going to have low numbers for babies. And then I'm going to have females that I've held back come on year now, come online every year after that. It's just going to bloom up really nice.
Yeah.
Now, boas will humble you.
Oh, dude, I have heard some horror stories from Mike, and it's just like it literally makes me think, how in the hell does anybody do anything with boas? Just
man.
Like they were fine breeding, everything acting normal. Then he'd go down the next day, and poof, they're just gone. Like, what the hell?
Yeah, luckily, I've had one boa pass. And it was one that was a lot of money, and it was it was a hypo IMG blackhead, and there's only 3 of them in the US. Da Vinci has one, another guy has one, and I have one, and it's fine, and hopefully it looks like he had a heart attack, and so hopefully the girl we paired him to got some. We see it, but she hasn't gone yet. So hopefully we get some from her. So
how about
it? Kind of, but it's part of it, I've been knock on wood. I've been lucky to, ball pythons. I think maybe in the 9 years I've been doing it, I've lost maybe 3.
Okay.
Bloods, I've lost a couple, and then boas, I've lost 1. So I've been, but I think husbandry, I think things like that play a big on that. kind of
Oh,
stuff.
husbandry is number one. I feel.
Yeah.
I feel feeding. is
Yeah.
a super.
And I
big
think,
one.
having the coconut and being able to change out. I mean, I think a lot of people look at cost and they say, "Oh, I can get another week out of it or 2 weeks and stuff." And they, I get so many people tell me, "Hey, my coconut's molding."
Don't
And
leave it in there for 4 fucking months.
Well, yeah, well,
don't add a gallon of
it's
water.
not,
to the
a
brain.
gallon of water. But the thing is like we hear when snakes shit, it's like a propulsion, and when we spot clean, what do? You grab the shit and you throw it away. You don't clean the surface because you're trying to, around it. So, some of that stuff, has to happen. And I tell people, it's one of those things like coconut isn't it doesn't mold. The only thing mold is when it gets foreign particles stuck to it, and then it molds.
Bacteria. Right.
Yeah.
Better than mushrooms.
Or if you put it in a hot area
That's
with
spores.
water and spores.
Anything molds with water in a hot
Yeah.
area. That's one thing.
Yeah. Actually, I had in the building, in the warehouse. So I got that who's that guy that came out with that fancy ass incubator?
Oh, Wilbanks.
Yeah, so I got it from Jolly.
Oh, you bought that piece of crap?
No. So, anyways, me helping them, I took it because I was like, I could just drop the thing and I could thaw my rats out in this motherfucker. So I use it to thaw the rats out. Yeah, so it's a fucking expensive ass thawer right now.
I knew a chick with moldy boobs.
You did?
Yeah, dude. She had like mold.
Oh, from under. No, that's
she was fat. She was
that's
fat.
from under cheese.
Yeah, underneath moldy boobs, dude.
Really? Oh,
yeah, we
man.
called her moldy boobs. She was fat.
That's brutal.
It was bad.
Shelly, if you could have seen your face.
Dad.
The look you gave was freaking priceless. You're like, where the fuck did that come from?
You guys talked about mold everywhere, and I just like I knew a chick with moldy boobs.
Dude, the mold was like 30 seconds ago. Like you're late.
Yeah. Well, he started talking about something else. I want
to. We're throwing rats now in the Wilbank incubator.
I think moldy boobs had some other issues. So.
Yeah, bad hygiene.
Yeah, if you let that go,
wasn't scrubbing under there.
Yeah, you got to get that.
Yeah.
So, but it's been fun. I miss parts of the daily stuff, getting into it. But it's good. It's I think values. It's all you think about it. The value of a snake is only what someone's willing to pay for it. And that's what it is.
Some of the stuff's going to get into supers, back to super, because it is shed tested.
Oh,
yeah, sure. And that's where it is like, what someone's willing to pay for something is the value of it. I mean, you can put what you want on it, but you might sit there for a year to do it or what. And it's like, yeah, you can try to get it, but every time you feed it, it's more out of your pocket than going. I mean, you told me that thing, Chris, about, you had something on Morph Market and then you put it up on a deal and it sold right away.
Yeah, I had a few out there for 6 weeks, and I literally took the shipping cost off.
Yeah.
And took $50 off the market price, put shipping of $50 on, and they bought it for $25 less than what it was advertised for, and it sold because it was on the sale thing. And I'm like, what? Like, wow.
Yeah. I don't know, dude. I had 2 auctions
sometimes.
Yeah.
I had this one snake on auction twice, and I didn't sell.
Well,
Yeah.
no, this wasn't even on auction. It was just on like the sale platform
The
where you mark the
deals.
price down, the deals. Exactly. So I don't know if somebody they search the sales and they just see, oh, this is marked on sale, you know?
Well, from what I heard, everyone's searching deals and auctions.
Yeah.
Deals and auctions. Oh yeah, that's the first thing I go to. I don't do any normal searches anymore
Yeah.
unless I'm looking up a new gene or a combo or trying to
Deals
see,
and auctions.
or
Everybody
trying to
wants
see if
to.
a similar animal is available of what I'm putting up. That's it.
Everybody wants to feel like they got one over on someone.
Yep. Oh, who doesn't like a good sale or something? You always
Everybody
feel
does.
better, man. Yeah.
I mean, I
But
always ask, like when I'm buying something, I always ask, "Is that your best?" And
oh yeah,
just,
especially if you got cash in your hand.
if it is, okay. All
Yeah.
right, I'll pay it.
If I got a lot of cash and like the best of the best and it's something I want, then okay, fair enough. You're the only one that has it.
Yeah.
You know, I gotta pay
You're
it.
gonna
If
get
there's 4 of them in the next row, I'm gonna take my cash over to another dude and say, hey, where are we at with cash?
Yeah.
Dude, I had an auction cancel twice on a snake.
No
I did a
kidding.
starting bid at 200, and then the last one I did a starting bid at 100. I'm like,
The starting bids are not getting any traction, unfortunately.
well, I was doing good with them. I did it.
Oh.
Yeah. I don't know.
So why
no
do you
one wants
put
a special head pied, I guess.
So why did you put a starting bid on it?
Because I didn't want to take anything. Because I'm like, I put my lowest I'd take on it.
The animal probably would have sold for $40. Like I got a
I'm
mail
not
up there
selling it for
now.
40. Yeah,
I got a mail up there now. It's probably gonna sell for like $10-15.
I'm not selling a breeder special head pie for $40.
Right.
I was like, the lowest I would take is like 100, and then see what they bid it up to.
Yeah.
It didn't get bid up.
Unfortunately, that animal, you're gonna sit on that thing, man.
Yeah.
Like $40, take that money and run, bro.
Yeah.
Sadly, that's like you figure it's a single gene with a hat.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
And
Yeah,
then
but special pies are insane. You throw a nice combo pied male to her.
They
like
are
an OD yellow belly pied to special head pie.
Yeah.
It's gonna be some insane animals. They're cool.
Yeah.
But then what's a special OD yellow belly pie gonna sell for in the long run? $250?
I don't know what. No, they're more than that.
Today?
Yeah, I'd have to look.
Yeah, it's just tough. It's tough to justify. We have these males that we breed for 2 or 3 years, and they give us say they give us 4 clutches. They average 6 eggs. That's 24. That's 24 babies that male gave us to sell, and we sell them babies. Say we sell them for $20 a piece. That's a little over $500. You get $40 for that male. He paid for himself 10, 20 times over. I get it, but on the other hand, it's hard to justify letting something go that cheap.
Yeah.
Sometimes that stuff hurts, but at the same token, I mean, you gotta look at it as on the straight and narrow that it's a single gene with a hat. I mean, that's it's been a rough. I think a lot of us have had a rough time adjusting to the new way of having to think with it. And especially you, Chris, since you've been in it so much, since you've been in it for a while, you've had that adjustment time.
Yeah, and that's the hard part you do see it, and it's like, would you rather take something rather than nothing? And it's like I look at, and it's different. And this is and I was talking to Chris about this when we were in Charlotte, is because you think about it, is now I sit back and it's an investment for me. And it's like, it's hard because Chris with Balls Deep, you're invested into that animal. That male you're invested to. But if you didn't feed that animal every week and everything else, and you weren't invested into it, $40 in your pocket is better than no bucks in your pocket. And it would and that's where that's flipping the mind on it of saying, hey, we have to change that mind of, and it's not letting animals get away for a thing. It's just, that's reality of the market right now. And it's a buyer's market because there's so many sellers, and it might change if more sellers get out, but you got to think about it. When sellers get out, Now you're competing, Chris, you're competing with someone trying to dump their collection to sell your animals.
Yeah.
So it's even harder. So I think it's going to be a year or two of some corrections, people getting out, and we have to bring new blood in. And every year, it should be bringing new people in, and that's where JKR, Billy from Mutations, Bob Balls, all those big name guys, they bring people in. Now, they also, now you're competing against those guys, and it's hard because when they have a plethora of animals. So if you want something, and they more than likely they'll have it, so they have such a following. So
Yeah.
that's kind of where it is of it, and that's where the diversity comes in, because then you take, okay, I got ball python people, I got boa people, I got blood people. Okay, I got a little bit of everything on there, and especially with Miguel, like Kittinger, he only does balls, and then he has some.
A few boas, doesn't he?
He's got boas, yeah, balls and boas, there, but he's back down from boas. But you look at like Steve Morse. Steve Morse only does balls. Jeremy Bod does balls. He does
Pectinatas.
and some other ornate gecko, Euromastic.
Uromastics. Yeah,
Yeah.
ornate uromastics.
Yeah, so and that's really his wife's kind of deal there.
Mhm.
And so that's where, for me, was like, how do I get Miguel in a place where he can compete with those guys?
Especially in
Because
Florida, yeah.
so especially in Florida, and he started doing shows outside of Florida. Was like, okay, let's get Coconut at your table, bring people in. Now let's start getting other genes. He's going to be making a lot of double hets, because again, his collection was based on like the codoms. I mean, he probably has like 40 or 50 of the animals was just heavily 5-6 gene females and stuff like that. So okay, I'm going to buy some triple visuals, and I'm going to buy some double visual males. I'm going to buy 5 or 6 to go to your collection and kind of build it like that, where now you can do that work, and you're going to have double hets or triple hets, and you got 5 or 6 codons playing. Those other
So you got the genes in there.
You're going to have those genes in there, and then now you can compete with those guys. And I mean, it'll be hard, but he's got a good personality, and everybody loves sushi. And
One thing that tastes better.
that is. So it's no, so it's when you're building a collection, I think that is so important in doing that, of don't try to, I mean, take what you love first and foremost, because if you don't like looking at the animals, you're not going to have that passion for it. But then is like, what route do you want to take it, and what route is gonna you gonna go with it and stuff? I mean, with the Mandarin stuff, we talked about like the video, like I did the YouTube and stuff like that. So I remember I go back and I watch that. It's like I did what I thought was just a Mandarin to an inchy lesser. And I remember my daughter was sitting there, and I cut the eggs, and I'm like, I thought I was the luckiest guy in the world, and I hit all Mandarins. And when I watched it back, it didn't resonate because I was living it right there. But then when the whole thing came up of, was it hypo and this and that, I went back and I watched that video, and it was my male was a super. And so it was neat being able to document it and see it and relive it and watch it again
Cool. That's
at
cool.
the surprise of it, of stuff, of doing that. But it's been fun. I
I
mean,
really enjoyed those videos.
I definitely have mis-ID'd some animals.
I think everybody's done that.
Yeah, and I have,
That's a learning.
and I've tried to make it right with the people, that I mis-ID'd and sold it to, and they could think when we're doing this, we don't know what we're so new to it, and we didn't have shed testing back then. So when we do that, it was an educated guess. I've never been wrong about a recessive, but the codoms in there, I've definitely been wrong twice that I know of.
It's all a lot.
So,
especially with the new genes, it's all theoretical.
Yeah, and that's where the new genes is. The Badger. There's only two of us. I have the import female, and then Wayne Rivera, out in Portland. He's another distributor.
Cue ball.
Of the chipper cue ball. So he's got a container coming in of the chipper next week.
Did he get one? Nice.
Yeah, so
Good
he's
deal.
got another one coming in.
Anybody on the West Coast?
Anybody on the West Coast?
Me or Chris, we'll get you in contact.
Yeah, with Wayne. So he's got a bunch of that coming out. But he's got a Badger, and then I have it here, and so it's going to be exciting.
Isn't Will working with it too?
Who?
Doesn't Will have some of that too, or was that something else?
No, Will from
Flawless.
No, he has Tragic.
That's
is
it.
the
That's
dark
it.
one.
Okay. So that's
And then he
one.
so he just made some Tragic lace yellow bellies, turned out dark. Something to check out. And it's really, we have an import, and we don't know if there's a super yet. We tried. I'm thinking it might be a dominant gene because he's really hit a lot. But I don't know yet. And I mean, we've let some go. Cyber Serpents has some. We have it. Miguel has some, and then
what's it look like?
It's real dark, and it's kind of the pattern mutation on the side kind of links it up, but it's really dark. A dark snake.
The Tragic, correct?
Yeah. So,
okay.
Yeah,
I seen them at Charlotte. They were pretty neat looking. The one that had what the hell was that one that was on display? It was a Tragic
Redhead.
That was neat. I like that.
So it really works well with Inchy. It kind of blows up the eye stripes, and it makes the Inchy body pattern. It gives it a dark look, and then it kind of widens up the stripes on the Inchy. So, wow. I mean, but same thing is like, we don't know. It's like we're getting into it. I mean, we're
still
only
in the infancy stage.
Yeah, still in the infancy. And I think, I mean, it's like the gorilla. We have the gorillas down, and we got that from MBK. That was something different. And then now, more people have it. But no.
That's a fancy het red exanthic you got there, buddy.
No, I have one with het red. All right.
You got the gorilla, I got the chimpanzee.
That's right. But it's like I have that. I have the cantaloupe.
Did you get one of them?
Yeah. Come on.
I didn't know you got that.
You're spending that money drunk.
Hey, we're gonna make the fruit salad. Mandarin and cantaloupe.
I'd like mine tossed, please, not stirred.
Yeah. That's going to be the hypo version. Mandarin, cantaloupe, hypo.
Oh, that's gonna be the tossed
and
salad.
then we got a gene called the burn.
Oh, you got burned too?
Burn 2 is
Ah.
that one right there is the one I like. It's like a orange, a deep orange,
It's
rustic.
deeper.
It's
Yeah.
deeper. It hits different.
Uh-huh.
So
That's wild.
so I mean, just seeing that and taking that, and then I'm only competing against myself, and I'm competing a guy in Canada. MBK and DPR, and MBK is actually the gentleman that owns those animals. So
Right.
DPR is kind of, he manages the collection for.
I'm gonna start putting cool names on my shit.
Yeah, but it was when I saw the cantaloupe, I was like, it
It's
was
like
another
OD on
orange.
steroids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
So then I was like, okay, if I can put Mandarin hypo to it. So I bought a cantaloupe head hypo. And I'm like, okay, if I can intensify that orange, I don't know if it's possible or not.
Yeah,
And same thing with Scrambler,
So, yeah, you brought Scrambler up. How do you feel about that?
So I believe it's tied to het pied. So,
Het pied?
Het pied.
Okay. You always see it with Calico and OD, though. Like, you
You
always
see
see it
it.
with that. Don't you think it's tied? I feel like it's tied to one of those or something.
No, it's tied to het pied.
All right.
Yeah. Because if you look
skeptical.
at all the super scramblers are pieds.
Oh, okay.
So
I never thought about that.
I think we have I have a Super OD Fire Inchy Yellow Belly Fire Scrambler het pied.
Jeez.
I have that one, and then I have another gene that came from Luis Alonso. It came from LA Exotics down in Florida back in the day.
Oh, geez.
And it was kind of tied to another guy that was doing hemp, was down in Florida, and he had this Spartan gene. So I think that Spartan and Scrambler might be the same thing. I don't know.
Right.
But the
They do
similar things and characteristics of it haven't, especially because we made a OD Spartan, Inchy OD Spartan, and it looks like that. So
interesting. I remember you talking about Spartan back in the day in your videos.
Yeah.
And it just disappeared. You didn't hear anything about it. You didn't see it.
Because I couldn't figure it out. And it was like I wasn't gonna go and be, I wasn't gonna go and say, and then it was like,
right.
But we made some last 2 years ago. We made some at Tony's, and it just tripped out the pattern. And I think it was a OD Inchies. It was an OD Spartan, OD Inchy Spartan, or OD Calico Spartan to a super asphalt something, and it made so it was crazy. So
yeah, I'm not sold on Scrambler quite yet.
No, I think it's tied. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it makes beautiful snakes. That's all I'm saying. But do we actually know? No. I mean, if you're looking at something that magnifies the oranges, get Scrambler. Something in there intensifies the oranges. But it's like Chris has done that work. He's doing that work, and Marcus James is doing it and stuff. Of doing it, and so, and that's where kind of Chris, I help Chris with the Mandarin stuff, IDing it a lot, because it is hard, the ID, but his high intensity OD stuff, the super something, I mean, makes the snakes orange. I mean,
electric orange.
Yeah, I mean, good lights, and the snakes are orange. So
I'm going to run the last sponsor ads here, and then I I got a few more things I want to cover yet before we call it a night. So
All right.
run these sponsors ads real quick.
Make sure you check out Nathan at Infinite Possible Pythons. He is your guy to go to if you want to get into the Bang project. On top of it, he's working a bunch of awesome ball python projects. Kahua geckos, Leachianus geckos, crested geckos, some scaleless corn snakes, and he is your one-stop shop for all your branding needs. So check him out. Check out Chris Shelley over at S Reptilia if you need a high-end ball python, blood python, locality boa, or colubrid. He's also Pennsylvania's distributor of Coco to Go and the Chipper, and he can also hook you up with some rats. So make sure you guys check out Chris over at S Reptilia. Head on over to Triforce Morse if you're looking for that missing piece in your ball python breeding project. While you're there, add a little bit of laser citron to the mix, folks. John and Christine can also hook you up with the crested gecko, so don't forget that. Turn up the heat with Triforce Morse. If you want to use the best reptile record keeping and tracking software on the market today, scan the QR code or click our partnership link in the description down below for a free 30-day trial of Husbandry Pro. I promise you, you will not regret it.
Use those codes, guys. Use those codes. Check out this.
Yeah, I still don't have a commercial.
You don't have one?
That's because you are your own
Jeremy
commercial
don't love
person.
me. He doesn't want to come to the hood.
He's got
Yeah, I don't do the hood.
Yeah, he's scared. He's scared to go see him.
Yeah, this boy don't do the fucking
Now,
hood.
where do you live, Chris?
I
From
live
Boston?
in Clifton Heights. I live in Delaware County. I'm close to South Philly.
Oh, okay. So you guys are all PA guys.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
Go
boy.
get Jeremy. We'll be safe.
I'll be moving in 2 weeks.
I said, once he moves, I told him my requirements are I must be able to pull my truck into a driveway.
You're parking on the street.
You're still gonna park on the street at his new house and have to walk.
Yeah,
down
I don't
the
want oil
driveway.
spots in my driveway.
You don't want what?
Oil spots.
Oh, oil spots. Shit. I drive a Chevy, my friend. There ain't no oil spots anywhere.
Shit's
Just shit stains.
Just shit. God. Oh man. So I do want to ask, because I've been kind of curious, how, Chris, like with the Coco to Go, the Chipper, and all that stuff, how did you go about like expanding and finding people to be distributors? Like that whole process, kind of, it's really neat to me.
Yeah, so I first started out with just getting people around Florida to do it, at different shows. I think, Jonathan Sked was, Emilio Villarino. He was Tony. Tony was a big spokesperson to get it out there. And then I just kind of started moving up. Troy Woodruff, he started doing it. South Carolina, and then I have Kevin McIntyre in Virginia. I had another guy in North Carolina that doesn't do it anymore, but it was just trying to get it out there, and we just kind of restructured it. This year was kind of, it is, before it was kind of a staple of part of my income. So I was, it was through all the market and the tariffs and everything else. I've always kept it at $10. I never went over $10 a brick on the Chipper. So I look at it at this of, okay, I had people selling it in their state, and it was like I didn't put any minimum, or it was like, if you want South Carolina or you want Georgia, Tony, you sell in Georgia and I won't sell it to anybody else. You sell it to other people, you can mark it up. Your cost is this, I'll ship out. Well, the problem with that was I didn't put a minimum to it. So I had people that were taking states and weren't putting an order in for 2 years or 3 years. And I couldn't have that. Yeah. I can't grow a business like that and have that. So I didn't make everybody the happiest this year when I made the change of I do $10, shipping included, a brick. So $2,000, you get one pallet of chipper shipped to your residential. You get it towards your company. If you live in New York, if you live in Florida, it's still the same, 2,000. If you live down the street from me and I got to ship it, it's $2,000 to do it, and that was, and I got rid of the states because I had people that were going to shows and they don't have any shows in their state, and they wanted to bring the chipper into someone else's state, and then it was like I was getting a phone call and saying, hey, Bobby brought chipper and he put it right next to mine and I didn't sell mine, and I had to deal with that. And
then the person that's supposed to sell it didn't have it. Like, there's all kinds of
Yeah,
things that can happen
yeah,
in
and then that,
situations. It made it so much easier.
yeah. So, so then I was like, okay, how do I do that? How do I better the experience? So then I was like, here, if you want to buy a pallet, you can buy it at $10 a brick. It's shipped to you and you can sell it. I'll put you on the website, which is www.cocodude.com.
Link
That
in
could
the
be a
description,
right?
folks. Yep,
Yeah.
the link is in the description.
Yeah, and we'll put all your shows on there. I pay an IT guy every month to go in and update that. So it's always relevant and everything like that. And that's something extra that I do to keep that, because as I said, I'm not the most computer guy, but so I just kind of opened it up, and hopefully people will see that, and they'll want to. Now, I had someone tell me, well, why am I going to buy a pallet when the guy down the street can buy a pallet too and stuff? Because you are going to, if you think about this, I'm all in for a chipper at $10. I go to the show and I sell it at 15. Okay. I have a $2,000 investment. All right. If I sell it at $15, now, if you can't sell a brick of coconut for $15, then you got to really look at how you're approaching things, because every other competitor is over that.
Yeah.
They're at least $17, $18, $20. So then you got to look at yourself. But if I tell you, hey, you can invest $2,000, you can make $1,000 and get your investment back. That's not bad.
No.
That's
Or
not
you
bad.
could- Or you
on
can get your investment back and
Yeah.
make 800 and bed your animals for a
and
year
then bed
free,
your animals for free.
or 6 months. Like,
Yeah. And then that's where people lose the short game of it. So for me was like, I just changed it, and I own the company, so I was able to do that, and I didn't have to answer to, I made some people upset, but at the same time, if I can use $2,000 to make $1,000 every couple months or every 3 months. Think about it. In 6 months, I can make an extra $7,000. Plus, I make my money back. It's math, and that's how I look at everything of buying animals and stuff like that. But that's where the issue is we are snake breeders and we like to buy things. So instead of putting the 2,000 back in your left pocket, you had a good day, you sold coconut, you grab the money in your left pocket that's to rebuy the pallet of coconut, and you buy a snake. Now, when I run out of coconut, I don't have that $2,000 to buy because I was spending it on the snake.
you have to be
Oh.
very, very manageable.
All I heard was next time I go to Chris's house, it's $10.
Yeah.
If you want to buy, if you want
$10.
if you want to buy 20 of them, sure, buddy.
Yeah.
I got you, homie.
Yeah. And that's where that's where it's trying to do it and just grow it.
Yeah.
And some people are going to use it. It's like, okay, I get a knock on the tape on the bottom of the chipper, but guess what? If I have them seal that bottom of the chipper, it costs me $1 more a brick. Now, is that something I'm going to pass on to someone, or would you rather pay $11 that brick, or would you rather pay $10 and have it tape? So
Yep.
it's that's kind of where I'm
Yeah.
trying to put out a good product and bring it to you guys as cheap as possible. And
Yeah.
I make very little off of it, and but it's a thing where I use it on my collection, and or Celtic uses it on the collection, and
So I use it on everything here: the carpets, the green trees,
Yeah.
the walls, everything.
yeah, and I mean it's a
I
good
love it.
product, and I mean I can stand behind it and say it's good. Yeah, are you going to get some rocks in it? You might get a Sri Lankan coin in it.
Hey, I'll
Never
take
got one of them
free. I'll
coins yet.
take one. That's okay.
Yeah,
I've
you
only
might
gotten
never had a
little
rock.
pieces, little chunks
You
of
might
like
get a
burlap,
finger.
like a string of
you
burlap.
might
is
get
all I've
some
really got.
burlap in there, but you got to think where it's coming from, and
Yeah.
we try to get it better every time. But the cocoa to go, you're not going to get that stuff because it's the way that's processed is a whole different process.
Yeah.
It comes from a different plant.
I say, can you talk about how that is processed? Just because, I mean, I will say this: I've tried the chipper once, but the cocoa to go, that's the that's the only thing I get from
That's
Chris
the gold
when
standard.
I get the stuff that's just by far, in my opinion, the premium cream of the crop.
There's like two stages. So when we look at coconut, the issue is when you go in brick form, how they make it, it goes through a press. So you're squeezing it, and then they have to use the fiber is the glue in the press.
Okay.
So when they're feeding it through, it's pressed down through this thing, and then it comes out, and they have a measure, and they chop it, and they put it in a bag, put the thing, and tape it. So that's the process of that. So the thing is when they do that, you're putting that coconut under distress, and then when you wet it, you want it to expand, and put a Sri Lankan coin in each bag. Right. So, but then
here.
right, and then that's where the cocoa, like the cocoa to go, doesn't get that pressed.
Okay.
And there's a couple other processes that they go through to clean it and stuff. So to make it more so it doesn't. I mean, you're gonna get the fiber in it. It's coconut, but make it more presentable and
it is very minimal.
Yeah, very minimal.
The one thing I did, I forget, maybe it was 2 years ago, I did a video on it. I did comparing the Freedom Breeders cocoa blocks to cocoa to go.
Yeah,
and like the tannin test.
Yeah,
like it's insane on how out of cocoa to go you get nothing.
Yeah,
in the water.
The girl that lives. She did one for the Gopher Cocoa.
The whole back rack, huh?
Yeah,
they did one.
Yeah.
They did one, but then it was like, then we somehow cheated the system, so they didn't want to give the true, Cocoa to go beat everything in the comparison, but then at the end it was like, but they might have cheated. They added weights into the bag, or I don't know if I heard it and I was like,
she was leaning. She was definitely leaning on Go for Cocoa, but
that girl's not even in the industry anymore.
Jana disappeared off the face of the earth.
I know.
It was very interesting.
But
Jessica's still around though.
Yeah, O'Hare.
Yeah,
Hollow Farm. Yeah.
But I sit back. This is probably. I've been doing this a long time. This is probably the third podcast I've been on. You don't see me a lot, and I'm not that guy out. When I started, I thought I wanted to be that guy with the short shorts and the fucking
You were that guy with the short shorts and
I
the
was.
Buc-ee's outfits.
I was.
Those are classics, man. I
That's
love
a couple
that shit.
drinks in.
We
Yeah.
gotta bring that back in. I'm gonna show you a video of him and he got Tony in a Buc-ee's costume. It was the fucking hilarious thing,
me and
man.
Tony, and I thought that, and then I was like, I don't want to be that person. So I kind of step back, and it's hard because, I mean, I give all the credit to Celtic because I am difficult at times to deal with, and I like things a certain way, and that's hard for me to relinquish
Yeah.
it and put the trust of something I built into other people's hands.
Well, yeah, you have hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting there. It's got to be hard to let some of that shit go.
It does. But
What's up,
we're getting through it and stuff, and I'm. But
time.
at the same time, what?
I said it takes time.
No,
too,
it takes
as well,
time
yeah.
to do it, but it's I've done it the same way for so long, and seeing someone else do it, it's like, in that same way. My wife drives because she doesn't like riding in my truck, and I sit next to her and I try to tell her how to drive, and she's like, "Go fuck yourself." So it is, and I realize that about myself, and I've always been a manager, or I've always been a owner of a company where I've had to delegate and stuff, and building golf tournaments for the PGA. I've done I've been blessed to be able to do that stuff through my life, and it's been I've been able to do well, and I don't drive a Corvette or have Porsches in my garage.
Why not?
I was gonna say he doesn't drive a Corvette; he drives a Lambo.
He's got 30 ass,
and it's
30
not.
bad
It's
boas.
not.
But you don't drive a Toyota Camry hybrid.
No. But the thing about it is, like, I did have a boat back in the day, but you know what? I gave it all. I gave it all to the snakes for fucking 7-8 years when I lived in Florida. My friends went to parties and did this, and they went to the sandbar and went fishing and did that, and I couldn't.
Yep.
You're cleaning snake poop.
And I was cleaning snake poop and chewing and drinking beer and fucking listening to music, and that was my enjoyment and stuff. But it's all we talked about a little bit earlier about that lull that we all are like, what the fuck are we doing? If I didn't have all these snakes, I could be at the bar chasing moldy pits and this other person.
Well, see, and that's the thing too. Like, I think a lot of people when they start getting into this, they get the idea, I'm going to be a breeder.
Right.
Starting off, it's easy to still have that life and have that fun.
It is.
But it's as you grow and you get more animals and you start hatching more babies and everything starts growing, you start a YouTube channel or something like that. All that starts taking more time and more time.
It
does.
It takes, and that's where you want to make it. And it seems like you guys up there, like with the barbecues, have a good community.
Yeah,
Florida,
we have a great community.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like here in Kansas City, Celtic they're growing that community, but it's not as tight knit. They have people come over for the crawfish boil and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But I'm kind of out of it, so I'm kind of like fish out of water sometimes at those things because I'm not every day dealing with snakes. I'm dealing with other things.
Yeah.
So there's some of that disconnect sometimes, but I did a show. I did Charlotte, and it was fun.
That was a slow show, though, man.
Yeah, it was slow, but
slow.
but
still
I enjoyed
get
it.
out though and see what it's about.
Yeah, it's good. You know, the other day I cleaned snakes, you know, and I didn't do it because they were bad. I did it just because.
Yep.
And
Well, we're supposed to be going herping, Mr. Chris.
yeah, where?
We were
Oh,
gonna
you guys.
go, yeah, we
Yeah,
were
we're
gonna go
supposed to
this
be
month.
this guy up here.
There's all sorts of. Let me tell you, there was all sorts of confusion on dates on this one because Shelly was saying we were supposed to go one date. And I'm like, dude, it's like, you know, on my calendar, you guys going in the middle of fucking July. Like, because no, it was in June. It's like, my calendar says July. And it's just like,
It was like June 12th.
14th it was, yeah. So we got to reschedule that, but
Oh shit! Did they show up to your house and you weren't home?
No, we canceled it beforehand.
Oh.
But
Yeah,
that
I
was all
figured
good.
out.
Yeah.
Definitely want to do that.
Yeah, see, I've never. I mean, so one of my customers is Big Cedar Bass Pro here. So they have a bunch of land. I've never asked them to go herping on it, but I mean, those are mountains and stuff like that. So
Oh wow, yeah.
it's there. So
That'd be a
I'm
good
sure I could call someone and they would let me.
We gotta get our
Pretty
little
wild.
group together and go for an outing.
Yeah, come to Missouri.
No.
Ooh, that's a hike.
That's a-
Hey,
Shelly, you know what?
I got-
oil.
hey, I got a better. Well, when's the kid due?
August 19th.
Oh yeah, you're not gonna.
Yeah,
be in it.
this year's fucked.
Well, because September 14th, the Eaglets are playing at Arrowhead for the opener.
Shit. The week before that, we got the double ARPE in Fredericksburg, Virginia.
Ooh,
The weekend
yeah.
before that. So
You
yeah,
You
that's
might be
just
sleeping on the couch.
well, and Tinley. Which speaking of Tinley, I mean, Jeremy, you gonna do a road trip with me and Sorrentino?
Dude, I think what date's Tinley?
What's that? The 11th and 12th this year?
I don't know.
October.
I didn't look up the dates. We're gonna
11th
leave-
and 12th of
If you
what?
two are going, I'll be there.
Me and Sorrentino are leaving.
Well, he keeps. I gotta see.
Yeah.
I'm moving.
I don't give a fuck. This is October. You're moving 2 weeks. It's
Or
July. You got till
October.
October. We're only going for 4 days. We're gonna leave Thursday at midnight, drive through, get there, set up, do what we got to do, and then just party Friday, then Saturday, Sunday, and then Sunday at 4. When show's over, we're driving home.
Yeah,
Maybe
you guys
we'll
have
take
that
the Toyota Camry hybrid.
Whatever we can fit all the stuff in. I think we need like 3 or 4 people so we could switch out every 3 hours and just drive right through.
I'm trying to sell that van. Once I move, I'm selling that van.
I've still got that van. We're taking it.
Well, what's the date in October?
Second weekend, October.
Uh,
11th.
Weekend.
Hold on.
Yeah, what's the
It
second
would
weekend?
be-
10th,
you
11th,
would
and
leave
12th?
on the 9th.
That's it. Yeah,
And you
Thursday
would get
night
back
to
on
9
the-
midnight.
You get back on Columbus Day, the 13th.
Like 2 a.m. in the morning.
Yeah.
So you need off that Friday and Monday.
I'm gonna fall asleep behind the wheel.
No, you won't. You're
Well,
gonna sleep
after
the whole-
him
you're gonna
saying that,
sleep the
nope, I can't
whole
go.
rest of the weekend. You only got to drive 3 hours, buddy.
Oh, I could drive 3 hours.
Yeah, and we got to try to get another person or two. Try to bring Jeremy. We'll try to drag somebody else along.
I say I will talk to Karen because I've got a gun show the weekend before, so I will be gone all that whole entire weekend. So that
Fair
might
enough.
be. I'll have to maybe put in some wifey overtime or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
But if
dude,
it
Yeah,
caught,
gotta-
if the deal comes down to either I go to Tinley or she gets a baby, fuck Tinley, dude.
Whoa, come on, buddy. You could use another baby. I'm already ahead of
Whoa!
you.
See?
Wow!
No more
I-
babies.
I
No more
don't have
babies.
to worry about that
You
shit.
can promote your show. Tell her it's
Went
for,
to
you know,
Dr.
promotion.
Snippet.
See, that's why we're doing AARPE. We go down there, promote the show, have a good time. You know,
Yeah.
get a new set of audience. You know,
We'll
We
try
got
to get-
Star Wars there.
We're gonna try to get Cusco and Kaufman over there and get our
Yeah.
table, get some airtime. That'll be good, huh?
yeah.
Be fun.
It'll be fun. I am really excited for that. That's gonna be another hectic thing because the week
I'm gonna get drunk with the
before,
coco,
I'm at the
dude.
beach all week.
Sounds good.
You're the beach, but the week before that.
I'm at the beach the week before.
The last week of August.
The last week of August, so we've got I come. It's like Sunday. I come home. I think we've got off for Labor Day, work for 3 days, and then off to go down to AARPE. But luckily, I've got mom. Mom's going to be staying here, just kind of keeping an eye on everything. Thank goodness, because I've got babies that are going to be due to hatch around then. Like I was hoping things would be times that way I'd be able to leave peacefully, and that's of course that's not going to be the case.
It's only like 3.5, 4 days. Everything will be fine.
This is my new toy.
Uh-oh.
What you
Look
make?
at that.
You 3D.
You 3D print?
Yeah.
But
Yeah,
what
I
is
want
that?
to do that.
That's a hide.
Oh, okay. Ooh,
Cool.
all right.
Now, did you
All right.
make that design, or did you find the file?
You see?
Oh, no. Yeah, you can throw
that's
that out.
trash.
You can get rid of that.
That shit's good,
Yo,
guys.
send the green and white one out here,
Yeah,
bro.
you can
We'll
throw
sell
I
them.
did one for
You need an eagle.
I tell you what,
Missing an eagle.
just keep printing that stuff off and put it in boxes and send it out here. We'll move it. But
Yeah.
Eagle is not the Kansas City stuff.
Don't they send that stuff to the poor kids over in Africa?
the day after.
that
You seen that meme where they're all dancing, all dancing in Chiefs gear after the Super Bowl? Did you see what was it? It was the basketball. It was Game 7. The basketball. They parked the buses inside the stadium in Oklahoma, and they were championship. They wrapped the buses already.
Oh, I heard about this on the radio.
and they made the Pacers walk right by the buses.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah. So. No, it's good.
You're a Florida guy. Come on, what the heck's wrong with you, Coco dude?
No, he was originated out there, right?
Oh,
That's where you started in Kansas City, didn't you?
No, I'm originally from Florida, but
I thought you moved to Florida.
I was right. Say it.
Yeah,
you're right. You're right. I thought
he's a Florida man. I knew he was a Florida man.
What's that?
I said he's a Florida man. I knew.
Yeah, so I lived in Florida until I was 17, and then I went back. Then I moved to Kansas my senior year of high school. Went to college here. And then I moved back and forth, and then I ended up staying here for a while, started events, and then
dude, what's it like doing a move like that? I'm only moving an hour and a half away.
So
he did it like 4 times across the country.
I'm like doing an hour and a half.
Yeah,
I can't even imagine.
When we moved from here, when we moved from Florida to Kansas City, I moved in a 8x16 trailer, and I made, because I had to drop snakes off at Tony's. So I would load up the truck with snakes, and then I would drive up to Tony's, drop the snakes, and then drive to Kansas City and drop our belongings, and then drive back. So I did that 4 times.
Wow.
Sheesh.
And then I had the snakes down there because we were in the middle of breeding. So then I ended up going down in October and then moving them up and getting Jolly their snakes and stuff like that. So.
Yeah. I thought of the best way to move my eggs. So my chest, so my chest freezer, I'm gonna have it empty.
Oh, there you go.
I'm gonna line the bottom with the water bottles from the incubator. Probably drain all the water out of the tubs.
I'd definitely make sure the water's out of it.
Yeah, because I don't want that water sloshing around, and then just line them in the chest freezer.
You did all your eggs over water?
Yeah.
Oh wow.
Ooh.
Okay, so you got to drain that all off. Yeah.
Or even if they were
towels and stuff down too for cushioning and whatnot, like towels. Or what?
I was thinking about. I got moving blankets, and then I got that cotton stuff that I put in.
You got how far are you moving?
Hour and a half. It's like 2 hours, hour and a half, 2 hours.
Yeah, so you got to be careful in the chest freezer because all the eggs and stuff you'll spike that. If you close the chest freezer and have it all in there, it will spike the temperature.
The
Definitely
eggs will
have
make
a
their own
goby
heat.
or something in there.
Oh,
to
you
let
think the
know
temp will
temps.
rise?
Oh yeah, definitely.
Oh, really?
I think monitor it. Put something in there like a goby or something and track it.
Yeah.
Close it, track it, and see what your temps are. And if it overheats, then open it. But I wouldn't just leave it wide open.
And you're moving in July?
Yeah.
Oh fuck.
July 11th is settlement. But I
You know,
mean,
The
I
hottest freaking time
I
to
don't-
do anything in
I'm
Pennsylvania.
in no.
He doesn't have to
I'm
move
not in
everything.
a rush to move out of here because
Oh.
I was still debating if I want to rent my old house or sell it.
Yeah.
He's lucky enough he still has his old
I don't
house,
have
so
to
he
rush,
can
yeah, I
move
don't-
what
Yeah.
he needs to, which makes a
have to
hell
rush
of a
out of
difference.
I would try. Yeah, it's hard to move eggs, man.
I moved 3 clutches in a cooler with just a couple water bottles and blankets, 2 hours. So far, so good. They haven't hatched yet, but we'll
Yeah.
see. They're due in like a week or 2. So,
Yeah.
Might be.
I mean, I know Jolly had a rough time with theirs.
Yeah,
They
Jolly.
lost a
Yeah.
bunch.
Jolly's had a rough time with some stuff.
Yeah, he's been having a rough couple of years. I'm glad he's sticking to it,
Yeah.
though. I'm
Yeah.
glad they're really pushing.
Yeah, I'm
Well,
going
the
to leave
problem-
them here as long as possible. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
The problem is when you hear something new and flashy, sometimes the old ways just work, and you don't need to go new and flashy always.
The
And
incubator I got in 2013 from a junkyard was an
Yeah.
abandoned freezer. Is the same incubator that holds 27 clutches for me.
right, and it's nice. And I mean, I don't know. I'm not putting anything in there, but I don't know what it was. So, but you just, it's sometimes the old, sea serpent hot boxes work.
They're the money.
Sometimes simple is just easier.
Yeah, simple sometimes is easier. You got heat tape, you got fans.
yeah.
You put the
Well,
thing
that's what
in.
I run now. I got a vitamin water cooler,
Yeah,
a display refrigerator with
Yeah.
a false wall and 2 fans.
yeah.
See, I don't even have the false wall. I've just got one of the old Coke fridges.
Yeah, mine doesn't
2
have
fans
false wall
up
either.
top, heat tape going down both sides and across the bottom.
Yep.
And so far, I mean, it's what year? I guess is this my 5th season? 4th
5th or
or 5th
6th.
season?
Yeah.
And everything's hatched fine, thank goodness. And if anything, everything religiously hatches like 2 to 3 days early.
Yeah.
Like it just
Yeah.
works. So it's like I'm not going to change it.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
If it's not broke, don't freaking fix it.
No. And you can make, your own incubator. I just,
Yep.
It's like, okay, you can make your own racks, or you can use ARS racks, and it's like it's a rack. It keeps the snake and stuff. It's just sometimes the ease of use of using those tubs and being it's what it is. I've seen people use plastic shoe boxes and stuff, and
Stack them up.
still happens. Yeah.
Definitely rack wise ARS all the way, in my opinion.
Yeah.
That's
No,
just,
they're good.
I-
I have all
I haven't
ARS,
used
and I
Freedom
have
Breeder.
one. I have that BOA Freedom Breeder one, and it's all right. It's I like the ARS better. I wish I would have I like their 96. It's like 6. I wish they had a cup holder, because I have the bloods in there.
okay.
Yeah.
And they just they tip over the water really. So I got their ass now. I put river rocks in their water bowls.
So they can't knock it over. Yeah.
Yeah, so they can't knock it over. So, yeah,
That's actually good thinking.
Yeah. Put a weight in there.
yeah, because
Funny.
yeah. But you got any more questions?
So I don't have anything else for you.
Boxers
You
or
guys?
briefs?
Boxers or briefs? Briefs.
Oh, I was waiting for him to come back with Commando. I would have laid a bet that's where that was going.
Good thing we can't see from any further down on Mr.
Yeah.
Deep there, because
No.
it's just
This
bottom left.
is we just moved into this house it's been like a month and a half.
Okay.
So this is my office, and I have the 3D printer, and I do sports cards and stuff like that. So
Nice.
I have all that stuff down here.
Justin, what's up, man?
Yeah.
I say, since you've got the 3D printer, I
Yeah.
would love to see someone do like a 3D printed rock hide that's big enough for adult carpet pythons to go in.
Okay.
If you can make them, Chris, I will buy them.
All right.
So we need
Well,
something like
rock hide.
maybe 18 inches, maybe like 8 inches high.
No, like just something about the size of the large VE,
Yeah.
black hides.
You
Just
see-
something roughly that.
You see it? It's there. And then it
You probably only do 9x9.
yeah. No, it's a pretty big. It's a pretty big. It's the biggest like base that they have for the bamboo. So it has
13 by 13.
I think it's. Hold
Because I
on.
thought they only did 9x9.
No, this one.
So I remember somebody. It was when we had Fork and Reptiles on. We had somebody on, and I sent them the measurements. Actually, that's
The height, is the height unlimited?
I think they're like 17 by 17. This new, but what it has is it has dual nozzles, so it has an AMS. It has two AMS deals on it, so you can run 8 different colors, and it just changes in and out and fucking goes.
the
Oh.
dimensions would be 13 by 9 by 3.
Okay.
3 inches tall, that's it?
Yeah, that's all the taller those large hides are.
Wow.
Okay. Yeah, I'll look at it and see. And you want it to look like a rock.
Yeah, just something that looks like a rock. Yeah, just
Okay.
something that's kind of like. I
Yeah,
love
that's
the tree
rad.
branches that I got from the reptile purge,
Yeah.
but then
Yeah,
just
I
plain
started
black hides
messing-
just look too plain.
I started messing with
Oh,
trees and stuff.
That's pretty neat.
no,
Yeah.
that would be neat to make.
So
Yep.
I've got when I bought it, it's a scanner. And so I can actually build a car.
We were talking about that, right?
Yeah. So I can just scan anything. And like a bust or your face or
It's
whatever.
like a camera that takes a
It's
picture.
a camera.
of
You hold it
the object.
and it scans it 3D, and then it'll put it in an STL file and stuff. So
That's
my-
pretty badass.
So my overall thing is to get some trees and bring them back here, and I can scan them and make my own stuff. So
Oh, dude!
Yeah.
All right, do not be mad at me if I fish you ideas.
I don't
Yeah,
know.
I just
Different
thought of
things that I
one, but
think
it's
would be
kind of
killer.
dirty.
Yeah, I know exactly what you were thinking about.
Yeah,
Scanning,
you're thinking
bro.
something about 3 inches.
I mean, I was thinking 4, because I mean that's standard for you, but the hide box can go 3, so 4 is no problem.
Yeah.
Yeah, he could probably. What about a log, Jeremy? Why is it got to be a rock? Because he made them log things pretty cool.
The logs were neat, but I mean,
Your
I'm just
perches
thinking
are
of
gray,
if
aren't
the
they?
carpet gets in the
Yeah.
log, it's going to be a pain in the ass to get out if you're trying to get it out.
Yeah.
At least the rock, you flip it up, boom, there it is.
Yeah, they have different like PLA. They have certain plastics like mixed with wood, and then they have different plastics mixed with carbon, and they have all kinds of stuff. I've only had this thing a couple weeks, and it's nonstop, just running because it's easy. Something takes like 10 hours to print. You just load it and go, and then
Go about your merry way. And
go
let it do
about
its
your
thing.
merry way, and then come back and do it. So I think hides, dishes, and stuff like that we'll start, because it's the same thing, getting people to your table. We were talking about, we had this little trash can with a raccoon that I bought from a 3D guy at a show in Kansas City, and someone tried to buy that thing. I mean, that was like, if I had 100 of them, I would have sold out of them.
Yeah. Well, the water bowls you got to watch, because me and Jeremy had issues where we had water bowls done and they were like leaking.
Yeah, the water bowls thing. I don't know if I'd attempt that one. I mean, maybe you got.
Could be the material, right?
It could. You got to seal them.
Yeah.
No, I made a vase for my wife, and it was sealed. But I made a cup for my son. He wanted a Call of Duty cup, and he fucking wasn't paying attention. He filled it up with blue drink, and then next thing he knows, I get a call. Dad, my fucking cup is leaking all over the place.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, all right. We'll try to print you a different cup.
Well, definitely, I will be in contact with you, dude.
Yeah, definitely.
Stuff, because
just
I think that stuff. There's a market for that for damn sure.
No, definitely. I think doing that, and the more things you have to bring people to you, to make you different, is gonna grow your brand. And,
and that's the other thing too. I mean, you could even put people's logos on the stuff. Yeah. So I mean, it's kind of like what we were doing with the water bowls. I mean, you can. Yeah.
Like I would have perfectly balls deep reptiles on the front and on the back. How deep do you go?
Oh yeah, balls deep.
Real deep.
Yeah. So I would just have that
balls
question.
Deep.
Or you do, or on the front you ask the question, how deep do you go? And then
I like that better.
Balls deep reptiles, and that's where the chipper. It's like the chipper came from, Coco to Go came from. I didn't have a marketing person. It was just like, hey, I mean, actually, Tony came up with the chipper name because I was gonna call it. I was an AN1 brick, and it was like a brick wall with a coconut and a dynamite. Was the first deal, because I wanted it to go with AN1 hens and stuff. Yeah. So you just try to, get a play on words, or something to make it, Coco to Go. I think something I got memorable. That from. Yeah, it's memorable. It's from. It was, I think, like coffee to go. I was thinking like someone doesn't, they get their coffee to go.
Right.
So. Yeah.
Yep, I love it. Well, guys, I say we call that a wrap. This has been an amazing.
Thanks for having me,
dude. Thank you very much, Chris. For coming
Thanks for putting up with me.
Hey, it's all right, buddy.
Hey, he kept his shirt on, so you're one of the very few that's seen a fully clothed Sorrentino.
Yeah, we'll share drinks in October. Don't worry.
Yeah.
But everybody, I will try to get a video out this week. I can't promise anything, but I will do my best to get a weekly video out. Next week, I think I don't know if I have a guest book yet or not. I gotta look. My head's spinning here lately. But one way or another, we will have a live as usual Sunday, 8 p.m. Eastern. If you haven't already, please hit the like button. Hit the subscribe button, hit the notification bell. Check out the channel sponsors, please.
And the cocodude.com.
Yes, go to the cocodude.com. Link is in the description. Get yourself some Coco to Go or the chipper. Also, hit up your local distributors. Get a hold of either of the two Chris's, either the Coco Dude himself or Mr. Shelley, and they will get you pointed in the right direction. But highly recommend Coco to Go, guys. I just love that stuff. But if you guys don't mind hanging out here 1 second while I end this, I'll bring us on backstage once everything does close out. But Chris, thanks again, dude, for coming on tonight. I greatly
Thanks for
appreciate
having
it.
me.
And everybody, have an awesome rest of the week. Stay cool, and don't dehydrate yourself.
Yeah.
And we will catch you all later.